Hey folks, I'm Rob.
And I'm Nathan.
And we are Two Guys in a Ride. And today we're at the Minneapolis Convention Center, and this is the Progressive International Motorcycle Show. And, you know, what are we going to do today, Nate?
Hey, today we are going to take a look at a whole bunch of really cool motorcycles and some side-by-sides and some custom bikes and some builds.
Ooh, I'm excited about that. But hey, before we do, take a moment, hit that subscribe button below and
hit that bell notification up above so you never miss a video.
That's right. So what do you say, Nate?
Let's go look for a ride.
All right.
Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and today we're here at the Progressive Motorcycle Show in Minneapolis, and today I'm here with Johann. Yep. Johann has a 2003 Yamaha R1 that is going to blow your mind, what he has done to this thing. And if I had to put a theme on it, I'd say, besides being just awesomely cool, is safety.
Yes.
So, Johann, let's start back with, you know, why did you get a motorcycle? Why didn't you buy something else? Where does your love for motorcycles come?
Well, ever since I was a teenager, I always wanted to have a motorcycle. But of course, the big thing was the parents didn't want me to have a motorcycle. It's too dangerous and stuff like that. And I never understood it very well until I got older, when I realized that, you know what, I have the willpower to buy one. Why not, right? But I always had in the back of my mind that it should probably be a safe bike. In order to do so, I had to make some changes to, say, the bike that I really, really enjoyed. And I think the Yamaha R1, I think it was like the last year that they made it with that the soup-up technology. And so what I did was that I took that basic model of that R1 and then went down every possible avenue of trying to make it safe, from the brakes, which was a big issue back then, to lights, current situation.
Okay, so let's start over here. There are so many safety features on this. So let's start with your tank, because if you've driven a motorcycle, you know eventually spills happen.
Yes.
And you actually had a spill, put a little dent in, and this is kind of weird. So tell us about this tank.
So this tank has a really good history. So when I first got the bike, of course, I kind of dropped it, trying to move it around in my garage. It was a very light drop, but enough to like ding the tank just a little bit. So what I did was I took it off, I sanded it down, I primed it, and I was thinking, you know, what can make this tank safer? And then I saw an ad for Line-X, which is like an indestructible material coating that people put in truck beds. I saw the guy drop it off of, painted a brick, dropped it off of a building, and it was fine. I said, you know what, that indestructible material should be on a bike. And so I put it on my tank, and I also put it on my front fairing, because I think that those two parts of the bike should definitely be safe.
Yeah, and so now if you dump it over, and then you cover it with carbon fiber.
Then of course I had to have a cover, right? And all the covers that were around were these little dinky, you know, covers just for the belly area, the tummy area, whatever. But I wanted the whole thing to kind of like be covered and protected. So the carbon fiber has a really nice, good look. It's very strong and sturdy, and also it's very, very glossy. I went with the twill fiber weave, and that actually looks absolutely beautiful, and I started taking that theme throughout the bike at that point.
All right, now since we're on the tank, let's talk about the cover, because I believe you've lost a few covers for your gas tank.
Yes, I have.
Okay,
I have, and despite the fact that it was a key to get into the gas tank, I've also lost my keys. So I got tired of losing keys. I got tired of going to the locksmith and, hey, can you make me another one? So I went and found a actual keyless entry gas cover, and so I put that onto the bike. I matched it up with the carbon fiber theme that I had going on, but I also put a little trick in it. Once the cover actually comes off, I actually have a couple magnets that I have on the front area that I can just put the cover on, so that way I can pump my gas and still have my cover, and I won't lose that.
Now, in addition to having virtually as indestructible as you can get gas tank, a keyless lid for the gas tank, a magnet to hold it, you also decided that since you were tired of keys and had lost some, you were going to put a keyless start on here.
Definitely had to put a keyless start, because that seems to be the theme now. A couple people have wireless start and everything like that. I'm still old school, so I like my keyless entry with kill switches. So good luck finding a kill switch for this bike, because it's by owner only.
So you got a keyless start. Yep. And then and again, we're just this theme of safety, since we're up here. You know, if you've ever had your been sideswiped by a car or something else, one of the things that can happen is your brakes get activated, especially your front brakes, which then causes an issue that you could have avoided had you had control. So, Johann, you did something different up here, and tell us what you did, and tell us a little bit about the person you got it from.
Yeah, so I actually went and outsourced a company called Dion Devices. It was built by this gentleman who unfortunately has lost his son in an unfortunate motorcycle accident dealing with the front brake being pulled unintentionally. The unfortunate event was that he passed away, and the father was relentless in trying to find something to prevent that from happening. So he created this Dion device. It's named after his son, so that way it protects the brakes and it protects your clutch in any forward impact collisions, or even just someone fooling around and just want to tap your brake while you drive. And it's very protective, and it's also carbon fiber at the ends.
So these can be hit really hard from the front.
Definitely.
Go ahead and give it a whack. There's a show them.
G-force of I don't know how much, but it just doesn't want to. It won't touch my brake. It actually protects my hand as well. And that's a cool thing to me, because the other ones that come out here with an L shape, I feel that it doesn't do anything much. You know, it feels like it can bend and it hurt my hand, whereas this is completely strong. I believe it's made of titanium as well.
So, and you'll notice on our pictures that one side is red and one side is black. So I asked Johann if he was just colorblind or if there was a reason for it, and there was.
Of course there's a reason for everything on this bike. So I believe when the gentleman started the company and he had his first batch, he had a specific color that he had in mind, and I think it was red. And then I ordered it, of course, thinking that I don't know if I like it or not, but I loved it so much I wanted another one, but they didn't have any more reds. They stopped with the reds. It was a completely fluke, I guess, that he chose that color, but everything else is black. So he went with black for the rest of the colors. So I'm very lucky to have at least one red one for a part of the original crew.
You may have gotten the last one. Okay, so let's go down, take a look at the side of the bike here, and you have got some safety features built in case of a tip over.
Yes.
And so basically you've got these bars that come out.
Yep.
And you've got multiple ones. So tell us about these.
So after my very first tipping experience, in the garage, I felt that this bike is pretty expensive. I should probably save the frame and the fairings for it. So I sought out some really tough pucks, to be able to support the bike and its weight at the time. So I went and enlisted T-Rex. I think is a company out there that makes some really good pucks. So they had them for the rear, the front, the sides, and by the engine. And so I started buying them because I figured, hey, if this thing is going to fall, I want to protect it. And so these pucks are very strong and they're sturdy, and if the bike does tip over, it's just going to scuff scuff the actual pucks, but it'll be safe, and it's even on the handlebars as well.
Yeah, that's just amazing. Now, talking about the side here, you can see from the pictures that it's lit up like a Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
Now, lights are cool, and they look nice, but Johann has gone the extra mile, and we'll overlay a little video here, but you'll see what happens when the turn signals go on, that it lights up the entire, I mean, there's signals going the entire bike. The back brake light divides into half, like, so if you turn left, the right half is red, but the left half turns yellow, which draws your eye even more. And people from people from any angle can see you turning.
Correct, and I made that specifically because I do a lot of night riding. I work in the evenings at a hospital, so my evening hours are completely in darkness. So riding a black bike, it was kind of scary at first, but when I started putting the lights, and I noticed that I can do sequential to eliminate some of the tail fenders that comes with the bike. I put on these flashers, which are part of my LED system, and I put it throughout the bike so that way it's by its own self and connected to the actual indicators, so that when I go left or right, it actually will light up perfectly that way, including a strobe front LEDs from I forget the company's name, but it's definitely one of the nicest ones that I've seen, that makes it very aerodynamic as well.
Okay, and then you also pre-planned this, but you have an app that runs all of your lights on your bike, and you have it set up into 4 different zones.
Correct. So I have an app from XK Glow system, and they actually are a very cool company that I've been privy to have all their toys with. I've played with all their lighting for their motorcycles, so I ended up getting two they call it adapters, and those adapters can be broken up into zones. So each adapter has 2 zones. So for me, I picked 4 zones because on the bike, I feel that there's a left, there's a right rear, and there's a right left rear as well. So you want to make sure that all of it is lit up in a different color, just because I like colors, and also I like to be seen, especially at night. So that's why I ended up going with those zones. And
now, one of the other safety features you have is when you hit the brakes, what happens?
Oh, so it's all attached up to my smart brake system. So when I hit the brake, it doesn't matter what lights I have, all of them will turn red. So that way it can actually let people know that I'm stopping or I'm slowing down. Stopping. When I slow down, actually, there's a device in there that will flash red 3 times when I downshift, so that people are aware that my bike is slowing down without me actually touching the brake.
Wow. And then you also have self-canceling turn signals.
Yes, I do. They're also part of the smart turn signals system, which I also put into the bike. When you take a left or a right, it doesn't matter what you take. It's going to turn off the minute you have the bike back into that centered mode again.
Okay, and then right up here in the front, you added some well, I would call them something for fuel economy, a little wings on the side of your struts. What's the difference you've seen in gas mileage so far?
You know, I've actually seen a lot of gas mileage increase, that I'm getting about 160 per 5 gallons, so I'm doing pretty good on efficiency. I think the bike's lightness with the carbon fiber and the aerodynamics of my front wing and my left and right covers, it helps direct the wind in the right way, so that way it could A, cool off the radiator that's right there, and B, helps the bike just keep it smooth when I'm doing anything agile.
So, and one last thing here, I noticed that on the other side, you are a former Marine.
No, never a former Marine. I'm always a Marine. What's a Marine? Always a Marine.
All right, you have the Marine emblem on the side of your bike, which I think is a nice tribute to your service and to the Marines.
Oh, yes, thank you. And that was actually from one of my coworkers, his dad was a Marine, and he was went into Navy, but he was very, I guess, proud of my accomplishments with the bike, and he said, you know what, I have this from my dad, why don't you try to find a place to put it on your bike, and I did.
Awesome. Johann, thank you so much on behalf of Two Guys in a Ride for taking your time to show us your awesome motorcycle. I just absolutely love the ingenuity that you've put into this, and you know, knowing that you've done this over a number of years, you know, it's a constantly evolving piece, but I'd reckon to say that's one of the safest bikes on the street.
Well, thank you very much. I was aiming for that.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.